Welcome. We made a small project on monitoring different environmental things in 3D space. Yeah. Could you put, yes. Basically, the idea is to draw a room in 3D because we have this point cloud data from the laser scanning. So we have a pretty accurate representation of this room. And in this room, we can put sensors in the room, and we can measure, for example, temperature, humidity, and air pressure, and like keep in check that everything in this room is okay if it were critical information. Yeah. Sensors. I think Shemen has something to say about sensors.
Hansen told a lot of about our project, but I can add some information to you about this is wireless sensors, and it's helpful to use it, and it's helpful install anywhere, everywhere, and it's compatible with Android and iOS, and the sensor is simple enough at the first glance. In fact, it has a lot of functionality, and for example, it can be used with 3D objects, and we can get a 3D picture of the room or something else, and then 3D.
Send the data over Bluetooth. So we used a miniature computer, a Raspberry Pi, to receive that data and then compile it into a JSON file and host it over an HTTP endpoint so that our Python script later can receive it and use it as it needs.
As my friend Hansen said at the beginning that about the point clouds. Point clouds are data sets that represent object or space. These points X, Y, and Z. They are the geometric coordinates of a single point on an underlying sample surface. And here is, as you can see, an example of 3D model of the house. And yeah, the Open3D is an open source library that supports a rapid development of software that deals with 3D data. And Hansen, can you show the main code, source code? Yeah, as you can see, this is our main source code that we have done it in Python. And what does the main code does is it is getting the data from the internet, and it will be drawing the sensor or the model on the map. Then Hansen will show you how it works and how we can run the model.
Yeah.
The demo.
The demo part. I'd have to operate from here, so excuse me. We're running in a Python 3.6 virtual environment, and we just say python3 main.py, and we should have it running soonish. Yeah, it's kind of slow because it needs to load a lot of data into memory, but that is to be expected. Yes, sir. Thank you. We select fly because that's the easiest way to operate this thing. So in this case, we can see that we have a 3D model of this room. We have Heidi there, hello. And then we have points in space represented by these balls. And these balls represent real-life sensors For example, you can see that inside the freezer, it's currently minus 21 point something degrees. So that's pretty cold. But we have the basic kitchen one, which is like 20 degrees. So that's probably the ambient room temperature. And then we have this one here, which is in the fridge, which is 4 degrees, and so on. I think this one is in the window, so it's 8 something degrees, but yeah. One can fly around in this 3D space freely, and you can also use the mouse to control the camera. But yeah, it uses OpenTree to render this point cloud, and yeah, it's pretty fast, to be honest. Yep. I think that's all I have to show about this, so let's move on to the next.
Who would be interested in this project? For example, there are many uses for it in the farming industry, which could be measured, be used for measuring temperature and ideal humidity for the plants, and overall measuring the temperature and humidity in, let's say, a greenhouse or a more industrious space. Then we have museums. In many museums they have large storages with many old historic things, which require a certain degree of control and constant monitoring of the temperature, humidity, so that the, let's say, an old metallic object doesn't rust even more than it should. And also in construction industry, it could be used to measure the temperature in a large 3D construction environment, and also be seen at a glance by many employees by quickly, as you saw in the demo, opening the software, quickly seeing where is what, and quickly having a visual image which tells you much faster than if you were to just read it from a phone or from a piece of paper.
Yeah. Could you please click the mouse? Yeah. Small thing, you're right clicking. Yeah, left click. Nice, yeah. Thanks. Click it again. Yeah. So, what's in the future for this project? Well, the future features that you could implement from the top of my head and this presentation. You would probably want something like hot pluggable sensors, so you could, snap a sensor on a wall, press a button, and bam, it shows in the 3D model or something like that. Then you can scale it in the sense of being able to handle any arbitrary amount of sensors. Of course, I think it does it right now, but you have to add them manually, so getting them automatically added is like a big plus. And maybe if you have a large enough 3D point cloud, it would be really hard to render it, especially over the internet or something like that. So you will probably want a software that turns a 3D point cloud into a actual 3D model with just a few plain vertices representing a wall or something like that. So it's really more easier to render. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that you can do with this project, but they're for the future.
What is the background in this 3D model? You have a 3D camera scanning.
Yeah, basically you have this laser scanning. You can see from the bars here.
Area, inside area, 3D model inside in that room. Then you need to find it through sensor.
What else to say about it?